Would you rather vomit on your hero or have your hero vomit on you? I mean, I'll absolutely vomit on somebody else rather than having them vomit on me. I don't care who the person is. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
what if your hero is someone who's not alive anymore? You know, that would mean either way you go, you're just like.
Well, does he get to be alive again? Do I get to see my previously deceased hero and hang
I
out
think
with
that's
him with
part of
vomit on
it.
him?
Yeah, that's part of it. All you have to do is let them vomit on you, and now you get to reincarnate a dead person.
So I want to hang out with Jesus, say for instance, but he must puke on
Ooh,
me first.
ooh, nice, nice.
Yeah, but that's true. But how much puke though, right? You know, it's
That's
just
it.
it's a
I
constant
mean, Jesus, he
projectile.
has those miracles. You
Yeah.
know, we have no idea how much will come out of him.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That miracle, that one wasn't in the Bible. He turned air into vomit.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? Let's not write that one down, right?
Let's leave that one out.
Would you rather watch nothing but Hallmark movies or nothing but horror movies?
Horror.
Right, because watching a Hallmark movie is like watching a horror movie, only worse.
But it's the same movie.
Yeah, exactly. So the redundancy of the blandness would be,
You know what?
horrific.
Our friend John, we were talking about that, and he goes, I want to see the guy die at the end just once.
Somebody get maimed.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I want to see something horrible happen to these people.
Have the dog end up in a wood chipper.
Exactly. Just once.
I was up on a garage roof power washing the side of the house one time. It was 4th of July weekend, and the driveway was wet. So the ladder slipped while I was coming down, and I landed on the ground. I broke my foot, right? So I come hobbling in the house. I'm like, listen, you got to take me to the hospital. He's like, what happened? I said, I fell off the ladder. What do you think is the first thing she says?
You idiot.
No, is my car okay?
Well, you know what? It makes sense because a busted ankle, that's just a copay. You know, the car could cost, hundreds or thousands of dollars to repair.
Yeah, there's a deductible, so it's like a copay.
That's an expensive copay.
Well, how was I going to drive you to the hospital if the car wasn't okay?
There's 2 cars in the driveway. You know, it's all right. You can call an ambulance. I don't know.
Yeah, nice try, Chris.
How are you?
Would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
The ability to read minds.
Really? Why?
Why?
Yeah, why? All right, I tell you what. You don't have an answer right away. That's fine. But let me tell you what Jim said. He didn't even skip a beat. He goes, move things with my mind. Read minds? I don't even want to hear what people have to say. Why the hell would I want to read their minds?
Yeah.
He was saying, I would just assume have the ability to throw things at those people. So to shut them up. Would you rather lose your sight or your memories?
Yeah, I think memories are overrated. What do you think about that?
So, I mean, that would mean I would not have the memory of all those times with you, right? Just to put it in the one capsulation between us, right? I don't know. I mean, that just sounds terrible.
But the love remains, though. So you lose the memories, but the
now,
love
would
remains.
it though? Would it?
I think so. Yeah.
I'd be like, "Who are you? Get the hell out of my house! Get out of my house! Who the hell are you?" You're like, "But I love you, Dad. I love you." Like, I don't get out of here. I don't know who you are.
That bad? Well, in that case, absolutely, I'd lose my sight.
Let's rewind again to the top of that story where Steve is on the roof, and now so he's blaming you for your, well, let's just call it, as it is, your callous response there, Chris. She laughs. I love it. But Steve, I mean, you obviously didn't set the ladder up right? So if it's slipping.
Yeah, bro.
That's what happens when things get wet. And, it wasn't like Christine.
You were power washing. You know who made it wet.
She's like, yeah, I'll just leave him out there. He'll be fine. That's like she doesn't even come and check on me. I could be outside for hours, laying dead on the front lawn. And she, wouldn't even realize until maybe, something needs to be done later and she's calling me to do it. Where the hell is he?
Why is the garbage still here?
Look at, and then she'd be like, look, he's sleeping on the front lawn. Goddamn moron. You know what? I'm just going to leave him out there for the rest of the night. Meanwhile, I'm bleeding out slowly. You know, it's okay, though.
So you're out there half dead, and all she can think to herself is, boy, for some reason I feel so at peace. I don't.
Chris, you know, a great guy, but a little on the odd side. And he wasn't above, you know, putting firecrackers in his freezer and stuff like that. And, you know, just doing awful.
I forgot about that. I forgot that he put firecrackers.
Yeah, remember? We blew up a bag of peas, and then we put a bottle rocket in his freezer, and we burnt the hole through a loaf of bread. We used to hang out in his basement. In the winter, it was a little chilly down there, you know. So we're sitting around, and we're like, hey, Chris, you know, I'm a little fire down here. Just joking around. Right? He grabbed that cardboard box that the 8-packs and the nips came in, the beer, puts it in the center of his basement and lights that thing on fire.
Oh, God.
And within minutes, flames were incredible. Smoke is filling the room, and you grab me by the shoulder and yell, Dick Van Dyke, grab me to the ground. So the smoke was rising.
Because of that commercial.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Would you rather lose your sight or your memories? And would the memories include video and pictures being gone?
Well, that's if we're limiting it to just digital memories, then take
No,
those
I'm
things
saying
away.
if your brain was wiped of the memories, but you still could retrain yourself on
I
those
see.
memories, right?
Yeah, but my digital catalog is pretty weak too. So I don't really take pictures. I'm not a picture guy.
And I'd have to go back and sort through all of that stuff.
Right.
That just sounds like a
Sounds
royal
like a
pain in the
pain in
ass.
the ass,
Just
yeah.
stick some toothpicks in my eyes, and I think
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, it would end up being like my one memory is like my poop was looking weird on December 22nd, 2016.
That's your digital catalog pictures like that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So
My
you're
homework
being
assignment from the week before.
so your new memories would just be all of these like nasty kind of just out there images. Lovely. Yeah, that's
that
good.
one rash that I had on my left butt cheek.
Yeah, I would say that might be an issue if that's how you're retraining yourself. Yeah, well, that's a good one.
So carpal tunnel on this hand, carpal tunnel on this hand,
Yeah, well, carpal
bicep
tunnel.
tendon repair on this elbow, cubital tunnel on this elbow.
So, but
Yeah,
nothing
the ankle
natural,
wasn't
right? It's all from self-abuse.
Yes, self-abuse. That's me. I'm a self-abuser.
Insert funny.
Christine tells people I have an abusive husband, and then they're like, "What?" And I say, well, he's self-abusive.
No,
I
insert.
need help. Get me out of this marriage.
Just dumb.
Well, that's why I thought your first reaction when he fell off the ladder was, "You idiot."
You did something dumb. Well, that was going on inside her mind.
Right. But she had a more pressing concern, and that was the vehicle.
Yes, how's my fucking car?
So then Chris runs upstairs and gets a pot of water and dumps it on this fire.
Wow.
So now he's got smoke throughout the house. We had to remember, we had to open all the windows.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was the middle of winter. So the smoke finally clears. Now there's there's a huge puddle in his basement on the floor with just a bunch of towels thrown on it. A wet, burnt cardboard box. And we're just hanging out there. There's a knock on the door, and a couple of Chris's friends stop by and come downstairs, and they look at Chris like with surprise on their face. And his whole explanation to the whole thing was, yeah, we're having a little bit of a party down here. And that was it.
Yeah.
He didn't, nothing. That was it.
In his mind, that encapsulated the entire scenario.
Yes.
You know, that's he anybody else would have done that in like 2 paragraphs worth of stuff.
These assholes got me to start a fire down there. He didn't blame us. He didn't blame anybody. It wasn't a problem for him. He wasn't upset by it.
Amazing. when he just made eye contact with some woman in the subway in New York City.
Yes.
Right? And all he did was make eye contact, and I guess she saw him, and apparently she was beautiful, and he got a sense that maybe there might have been some kind of spark, some kind of connection.
She probably just smiled at him like uncomfortably, like, oh my God.
Stop staring at me. Stop staring at me. You remember how he tried to meet this woman?
He's skywriting, right?
Yes, he bought a skywriter. And he apparently, I didn't see it, but apparently, you know,
it was like a paragraph.
Yes. It was, in this case, he did a whole paragraph.
He needed the Blue Angels. He hired them to do it.
He would much better saying we had a party, you know. Yes, rather than in that case. Yeah, hi, we met. We had a party.
Yeah. No, he was describing, we met on the subway on this date. Can you imagine that? The woman would have had to travel to another country to finish the sentence.
Would you rather be in jail for 5 years or be in a coma for 10? It's a tough choice, man. You know?
Nah, I think jail for 5 years, every chance.
Yeah, I don't know. Jail could be so bad. I don't know.
I hold the delusional perspective that if I were to go to jail, I would be able to win people over and be well liked among my fellow inmates.
The problem is that you might go to jail and someone might win you over, if you know what I mean. That could very well be the issue.
He sends me down in the dungeon.
I don't send you down there. You choose to go down there.
That's
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, chef.
Well, you know what? He understands his place. Right?
It's called No Place.
He used to ride his bike into New York City.
Yeah, he would like take it on like Route 4 or Route 80 and go over the GW Bridge.
Yeah.
And he actually went all the way downtown often.
And the one day it got stolen. His bike got stolen when he was in the record shop. He came out, his bike was gone. So he approached two of the policemen. They were sitting in their car. And the question he asked them was, hey, what do you guys do with the stolen bikes around here?
Like he was looking to fence them.
Yeah, what do you guys do with the stolen bikes? Like they knew, all the stolen bikes are here. Like
that's right. Yeah, you want to go down. You want to go down to West 4th Street.
And about 2 blocks later, he found it. He saw some guy with his bike, and he said, "That's mine." And the guy gladly just gave it back to him, and he rode it home.
It was before the days of e-bikes. The guy probably thought it was sitting there. He was like, "Oh, this is a community bike. I'm going to take this down the block."
Yes.
Okay. Oh, this one's nasty. So, would you rather wear the same socks for a month or the same underwear for a week?
Oh man, that's brutal. I was just saying to myself earlier today, dry socks, happy John, because my socks got a little wet.
Yep. You know me. I can't stand damp or wet socks.
I think
but
it's
a week,
got to be underwear. It's got to be underwear.
I think it's got to be underwear as well. I mean, as long as you keep yourself clean, keep yourself clean. A month of the same socks, that'd be just so nasty.
Yeah, and if I could choose like a nice air-rated pair of underwear, you know what I'm saying? Nice breathable pair of underwear.
And does it say where this? It said same socks. It doesn't say unwashed. It doesn't say unwashed. That's a pretty key point. Like I'll wear the same pair or the same pair of socks or underwear. I'll just wash it every day. What the hell?
No, but you can't take it off. So you have to wash it while it's on your.
Oh, yeah, that could be a real problem.
I mean, I guess that's how the never nudes do it, right? I mean, if they're never
nudes. Oh, the never nudes. You mean like the never nudes?
I mean, that's like a type of a class of people, right?
I don't know. I just know from Arrested Development. I don't know beyond that. I'm not even sure if
that's my whole basis on it too.
Oh, is it really? Okay, so that's your entire study on this topic. That's right. Yeah. But it's true though. I mean, most people, the generality of let's just say America, people aren't exactly reading the New England Journal of Medicine. Our content knowledge comes from such things like TV shows and things along those lines, right? That's how we know things, which is just sounds scary. So anyone that might end up watching this thing, right? That's really scary because you're really not gaining anything right now. look, I always question his sanity, but really it's your sanity that I have to question there, Chris, for having
I've been
married.
saying that for years.
Yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
She shouldn't be questioning your sanity, right? Because she's always doing that. But really, she married you. You couldn't help being you.
Exactly.
You're right. You were born like you. You know, as
Right.
difficult and troubling as that is, you were born like that. She chose you.
She met me and said, "Yep, this is the guy I want to spend the rest of my life with."
That.
So here we are. You're sitting in two different rooms.
Well, of course.
Talking to you.
Spoken to John in another state.
And of course, I did that to you guys because I wanted to isolate out the audio. But I figured I was kind of doing you guys a favor anyway. So, you know.
Thanks,
You're
John.
doing Christine a favor.
Yeah, Chris is like, can we do this more often? When we were particularly young, one of the very earliest, hey, we're stupid, let's do something stupid things was rolling a bicycle tire down the driveway. You knew you were going to say that, right? Because that goes way back. That's really early on where we stood on top of the neighbor's driveway, of course, because he had the hill, right? So we had to go on somebody else's property.
Yeah, we didn't do it on our own. Yeah. Even if it was only 3 feet away, it had to be somebody else's property.
No, that's true. We always did that. Played football over my sisters. You know, hanging out. I know your lawn was the best. And at one time he's like, wow, guys, could you just go play around the back? And so we go around. He's like, he was really sweet about it. We go around the back, and it's like a bunch of roots.
It was all roots and dirt.
And we're like,
we can't play back here.
We just went right back to the front.
Screw him. We're playing on his front lawn. I don't care what he says.
It was a good lawn. But we took we took the tire and it was just a regular bicycle tire. There was no metal inside of it or whatever.
No, it's just the outer tire. Yeah.
But we would wait for a car to come by and roll it down the hill at the car. And the car didn't somebody come out and yell at us once?
Probably, but we didn't even run.
No.
We just stood there laughing.
Would you rather be royalty 1,000 years ago or an average person today?
Royalty 1,000 years ago, 100%.
Really? I'm completely on other end of the spectrum. Tell me why.
Because think about like a royalty 1,000 years ago is just like you were just the king of your dominion, you know? Like you could do anything that you wanted.
Yeah, but the things you're able to do are so very limited, right? Because it's 1,000 years ago. So what about the fact that you wouldn't have like some medicines and stuff like that, and you got a little sick, and next thing you know, you'd be as good as gone, or just
Overrated.
all the other plague and all the other stuff that might be going on.
Overrated right there.
Yeah, overrated. How about television, John? Speaking of overrated,
that is, I would gladly leave that behind.
You would not have this podcast with me right now, John.
Yeah.
Think about
the other thing is the average person today. I mean, are we talking in the United States? 250, 300 pounds.
An average person today would not be. I automatically just went right to an average person. I consider us average people. So I like my life. I'm very cool like this.
That's true.
But no, wait.
No, you gotta drop your IQ like 30 points, though.
That's right. To make myself happy. So there you go. That's another problem, right? Yeah. Well, you could really pull back the layers on this one. Steve, what kind of story do you want to bring up? How about a story about your wife?
Who?
I just flipped it on this.
Who?
Exactly right. See, Chris, I knew I was safe there because he has no memory at all, right? I knew that by saying that, he'd be like, I don't know what to do with this. So,
oh my gosh!
But I gave you the opportunity, Stephen.
Where am I?
Is this thing on?
Hello.
So I've been doing that with my kids for years, just acting odd and bizarre. It's me, right? And I told them, you're never going to know when I've gone and lost my mind. You're not going to know time to put me away because you're like, well, it's just dad being dad. So I've kind of couched against that from happening. Oh, there he is running around naked outside again. Pants on his head. Well, not exactly that, no.
It wasn't like we were like teenagers and we were like, throwing snowballs at cars and running. Right. We were little kids.
Yeah, we started the stupidity pretty.
That might have been before double digits.
That was definitely before double digits. Definitely. Do you remember taking a thread, like sewing thread, and going across the road from like your house to my house.
Yeah, having cars run through it. Yes.
Yeah. That's an oh yeah, right? Because you haven't thought about that in ages, I bet.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Who is the average person? Dad, do you have like a most average person that you know? You ever thought about that?
The most average person I know?
Yeah, who is the most average person that you know? See, this is the difficulty with a podcast. You couldn't just call out some random person. I mean, I guess you could.
No, you kidding me? All the people in my life, I'd be happy to. Now, I don't know if I have an answer for that. I would imagine I might have met the person at one point or another, but they were so average, I'm not going to remember them.
Yeah,
See, that's
true.
the problem. See, I don't
true.
know. I don't know who that person is.
The most
I might have been.
people are the most forgettable.
Yeah, I might have been buddies with him at one point. And like, oh, he's too average, and now I don't know who the hell he was. Do you remember your kids saying anything that was just outrageous out there, or just typical things that kids say? I remember Alex had said one time, which is this great line: "Are people made of meat?" Is that a great
And
line?
what was your answer to that?
I said, "Yeah, we are." Some
We're human meat.
Some was ground up.
Remember having catch with the golf ball?
Oh yeah, thanks for the memories. Yeah, so he threw the ball at me.
I still got a scar.
Nice and high. It got caught up in the sun. At least that's my story now. Anyway, I can't say for sure. And I missed the ball right into the socket.
No,
Right.
actually, it wasn't even that. It was the golf ball when it bounces, especially on the street, not on the grass, not like when you're playing golf on the grass where it just hits. But when it gets that spin, it like ricochets.
Oh, that's right.
And you didn't catch it. It hit the ground first, and it like ricocheted and caught you right under the eyelid, almost dropped you.
Yeah, that sucked. I could actually, I could see the
Well,
flash.
for you, I mean, I was laughing my ass off.
Well, yeah, of course, because that's what friends do. Would you rather be chronically underdressed or overdressed? It's a nice, easy one at the beginning. I'm still throwing you a softball.
See, it sounds really easy at first, right?
Right.
But then you think about the alternative, and you'd be sweating your balls off constantly.
Yeah, so you're out there like wearing a tuxedo while raking the lawn.
Yeah. Yeah, or the alternative is indecent exposure to all the children in your neighborhood every time you want to rake the
Oh,
lawn.
geez, if you want to go ahead and to go to that extreme, damn it, John, that's pretty.
That's
good.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
I'm thinking chronically overdressed, and I moved to Norway.
Yes. Wait, why Norway? Because it's a little colder up there? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, because it's colder. Yeah.
No, it's not because they like very well dressed people, right? It's,
No.
well, okay. Would you rather be gassy on your first date or your wedding night?
I was gassy on both of them, so it didn't really matter.
I want to know what Gail just said.
She goes, does it really matter?
For that reason.
It was our second date. We were in my car, and I blasted.
You did?
Yeah. And rolled the windows up.
You locked the windows so she...
Yeah. And she married me.
Yes.